Namaste. It's my proud privilege on behalf of Arts from India to bring to you today a discussion and demonstration of an ancient dance art form, Kuchipudi. There will be demonstration of certain mudras and jatis, as well as a detailed discussion on how this dance form has evolved and permeated through society. On a personal note, I am interested in Kuchipudi myself from a very young age, watching Kuchipudi shows with my father, and then subsequently my own daughter who completed a Rangapravesham. So I will be looking forward to this discussion with a lot of interest. But before we begin, I'd like to say a few words about our honored guest today, and then the young artists who will be performing and demonstrating today, as well as performing at the festival that Art from India has collected to be followed shortly. Our guest today, our expert guest today, is Dr. Lalitha Sindhuri. Dr. Sindhuri is a very young, talented Kuchipudi dancer who hails from a traditional family of Kuchipudi artists. Being the great-granddaughter of late Vempati Venkata Garu, Lalitha has that inherent spark of art which she has brought with conditioning discipline into shape by her gurus, Sri Vedantam Satya Narasimha Shastri, Sri Pasumarthi Srinivas, and Sri Vedantam Venkatachalapati. She is currently under the tutelage of Sri Jayakishore Mosalikanti. Interestingly, Dr. Lalitha has completed her engineer in computer sciences. And as an IT person, you would imagine her working in some IT firm or some startup. Instead, she took her passion and converted it into a profession, completing her master's in performing arts in Kuchipudi from the University of Hyderabad, and then a doctorate from the same place. She has performed extensively across the country in multiple locations with over 1,000 performances. She has received many awards like the Balashri National Award from the President of India, the Balaratna State Award from the state, an Outstanding Young Person Award from JCI International, and so on. She's also been awarded titles like Nritya Sarada, Nritya Vilasini, and Nitya Mayuri. Being a graded artist of Doordarshan, she has been a recipient of many scholarships and awards, as well as national level junior research fellowship by the University Grants Commission. On a more personal note, Lalitha has visited Barnard College in New York City, which is where my daughter went to college. So that's another little link here, where she was a Fulbright Nehru doctoral research fellow in 2017-18, where she worked with Dr. Uttara Asha Kulwala on the impact of cross-cultural training in dance with special reference to Kuchipudi. She has also performed widely across the United States, in New York, New Jersey, Chicago, Penn State, Pittsburgh, San Jose, Nashville, and Miami, to just state a few. So that is a little bit about Dr. Sindhuri. Now, our two young artists. I'll start with SAI VENKATA GANDHAR. He's a young Kuchipudi dancer from Hyderabad himself. He started training at the Nishrinkala Dance Academy under Guru Smt Sandhya Raju for the last 12 years. And he's also a postgraduate in business administration. Currently, he's pursuing his master's in Kuchipudi at the same place Dr. Sindhuri trained, the University of Hyderabad. He's one of the prime students of Srimati Sandhya Raju. He's been an assistant teacher with her after his Rangapravesham since 2015. He's performed and participated in several group ensembles in this academy, has also participated and performed in many prestigious dance festivals, including the Sangeeth Natak Academies, Nritya Prathibha Festival, Pongal Festival, Sri Krishna Gana Sabha, and so on. He's also trained in gymnastics as well as Carnatic vocal, which I'm sure gives him a real good bass when he performs Kuchipudi. Our other artist today, D. Chakravarty, is a Kuchipudi artist, also from Chennai. He started training at the age of 5, where he joined Sri Ambikeshwara Nruthya Niketan under Guru Sri SP Anand, and there he got trained till he was 12. He then completed his bachelor's in commerce in 2015. His passion and obsession for Kuchipudi drove him to the Kuchipudi Art Academy in Chennai under the guidance of Sri Guru Smt, Srimayi Vempati. He's also participated and performed in many prestigious festivals and programs like the Sri Krishna Gana Sabha, the Indian Dance Festival in Mahabalipuram, and the Government College in Salem festivals, and different festivals all across the country. He's also had a tour in the US of 35 cities where he participated in ballets like the Ardhanarishwaram, Rukmini Kalyanam, and Chandalika. So that, in brief, was a description of our guests and artists here today. And I'm excitedly looking forward to their conversation and discussion about the nuances of Kuchipudi. And with that, I invite Dr. Lalitha Sindhuri to begin the discussion.
Thank you very much, Dr. Krishnanji, for such a beautiful introduction. And I'm so honored to be part of this discussion today. And of course, to, partner with my friends, beautiful dancers, Gangadhar and Chakravarty. Today, I'll be briefing you about the history of Kuchipudi. Then we'll see some beautiful steps which are very special to Kuchipudi and footwork and some exercises which will be demonstrated by Gangadhar and Chakravarty. As you all know, Kuchipudi is one among the 8 classical dance forms of India. It is from a village called Kuchipudi, after which it took its name, Kuchipudi. Kuchi means small, Pudi means place. So it's a village's name, and the dance form took village's name, which is in Krishna district, Andhra Pradesh, which is in the southern part of India. That's where Kuchipudi was born. The first reference of Kuchipudi was actually found in a document called Machpalli Kaifiyat, where, a written document mentioning the surnames of all the dance families was mentioned. It was in 16th century. Basically, Kuchipudi is a male dance drama tradition initially, which was only performed by men, especially Brahmin men, who were agriculturists. So they used to do agriculture for 6 months in a year, and for the rest of the 6 months, to make their living, they used to travel across the country and perform and make their living. What did they perform? So initially, they performed kalapas and kelikas. So kalapa is a genre where there are only 2 to 3 characters, and a character will be narrating its story. So there are dialogues. There is dialogues which is called Vachika Abhinaya, and there is Angika Abhinaya, and there is music and dance and everything in it. And they also performed kelikas, which are probably the current solos. Siddhendra Yogi is said to be the father of Kuchipudi because he was the one who taught Bhama Kalapam, which is the story of Satyabhama, the proud wife of Lord Krishna, to these young dancers, young male dancers of Kuchipudi village. So what is the story of Siddhendra Yogi? Apparently, Siddhendra Yogi was called as Siddhappa. In his childhood, he got married, and when he went to, he was said to have studied in Varanasi, where he studied all the Alankara Shastras and Abhinaya and language, Sanskrit and all. And he grew up to a young man, and while he was on his way to his village, it was said that there were floods in Krishna River. So he has to swim the river, but he was about to drown. And then he just, imagined that, okay, what happens when I die? He really wants to see his wife. So he says, oh God, I will leave everything, I will renounce everything, and I'll become a yogi or an ascetic once I reach the banks. So thankfully, he will reach the other side of the river, and he forgets about his woe, and he goes to his house. And only that night he realizes that he has become an ascetic. Ever since then, he renounces everything and he dedicated his life to the dance, Kuchipudi, writing so many kalapas and teaching teaching that kalapas to young men of Kuchipudi village. Coming to the repertoire of Kuchipudi, to the evolution of Kuchipudi, initially it was only kalapas and kelikas. In 18th, 19th century, Yakshagana is another literary genre in the southern part of India, which was prevalent in Karnataka Yakshagana, and in Andhra region, in Andhra Pradesh. So Yakshaganas came into the repertoire of Kuchipudi. What are Yakshaganas? There are so many desi meters, like the desi meters that are present in Yakshagana, and the literary meters like Kandardham and all that were present. What are the themes of Yakshagana? Like Prahlada Natakam, Ramba Natakam, Usha Parinayam. These were the stories that were performed. So basically, Kuchipudi dancers were called Bhagavatas because they used to perform so many stories from Bhagavatam, the Purana, especially the 10th skanda of Bhagavata Purana. So that's why, because they danced to the stories of Bhagavatam, they were called Bhagavatas. So around 18th, 19th century, Yakshaganas came into the repertoire of Kuchipudi. And the beginning of 20th century is very interesting because that's the time when every dance form was, reviving and remodeling itself to adjust to the then India, which is fighting for independence. Every dance form, in fact, we wanted a identity and culture of our own, and we want to present it to the world that we are very rich in culture and heritage. Just like how Bharatanatyam evolved, Odissi was evolving, and Kuchipudi also. And up until then, it was just a male dance drama tradition. It was Vedantam Lakshmi Narayana Shastri Garu, who taught Kuchipudi to female dancers for the first time. He went to Chennai and he started teaching Yamini Krishnamurti ji, who already learned Bharatanatyam and Odissi by that time. And then he taught to Indrani Rahman and many other the first generation women dancers of the country. And that's how women entered the dance form. And how did this dance form? So slowly solos started taking place. It is interesting how the dance drama tradition is evolving on one side in India and how the solo tradition is evolving on the other side. So the dance drama tradition is called Natya Mela, in which you can see Kuchipudi, Bhagavata Mela, Yakshagana, for that matter, Kathakali and Kudiyattam. These are all dance drama traditions which are only performed by men. And then there is a solo tradition that parallelly evolved in India, where we see Sadar, which is today's Bharatanatyam, performed by Devadasis, and Odissi, which was initially performed by Maharis, and of course Kathak, which is again a solo tradition. So these two traditions parallelly evolved. And what interesting happened to Kuchipudi was that, so this dance drama tradition just didn't remain as a dance drama tradition. It became a complete solo format too. So women started dancing Kuchipudi, and then of course there were stalwarts like legends like Shri Vempati Pedasatyam, Shri Vempati Chinasatyam, and Shri Prahlada Sharma Garu, who also, one of the gurus who taught, the first generation women dancers in Hyderabad, in Andhra region. And these were the people who revived the art form. Another interesting aspect of Kuchipudi is that the dancers, the gurus from the village went to Chennai to choreograph in the cinema. Cinema was evolving. So there is this influence of Oriental dance, which was from Uday Shankar ji and Ram Gopal. Apparently, Vedantam Lakshmi Narayana Shastri Garu met Ram Gopal and Uday Shankar, and at some point of time, some folk and Oriental, in the name of Oriental dances, they used to perform dances like Hunter dance, Pakiwadi dance in Kuchipudi. So Kuchipudi, wherever it went, it grabbed so many elements. And so there used to be the folk element of it, there used to be the Oriental element of it, there is of course the very traditional element, the sticking to its roots. So after Vempati Chinnasatyam revived the art form, how did he revive the art form? Just that he expanded the Ankika Abhinaya, which was already there, especially which you can see in the torso movement, the upper body movement. And when it was only performed by men, it was the energy outflow, like, outburst of the energy. And later, after Vempati Garu, it became it's all in the core, it's a controlled energy which looks softer and feminine, yet it takes a lot of energy to do. So that's how the dance form evolved from kalapas to yakshaganas to solos. And today we see so many styles in Kuchipudi itself. And coming to the repertoire, what are the items that are performed in Kuchipudi in a solo tradition? So the concert can start with a Pushpanjali or a Kautvam, and then it can go to a Kirtana. It's like we do, of course, Gangadhar and Chakravarty did Ananda Tandavam, a main item like that, Kirtana, and then we move on to a Padam or a Javali, and then we move on to a very interesting piece which is very special to Kuchipudi, that is Tarangam. Tarangams were written by Sri Narayana Tirtha. And what is the specialty of a tarangam is that at the end of each tarangam, there is a stanza which speaks about the beautiful dance of Krishna or whoever is the main character in that particular composition, be it Krishna or be it Durga or be it Shiva for that matter. So every last stanza speaks about the feat and the dance of that particular character, which we end with a dancing on the brim of a brass plate. So that is basically to show the prowess, the technical prowess and the rhythmic sense of a dancer. So the brass plate has been introduced in Kuchipudi, and today we see, interestingly, many Kathak dancers also dance on the brass plate. So that is the repertoire of Kuchipudi. On that note, I will introduce, of course, the introduction has already been done. So I would like to ask our artists today, Gangadhar and Chakravarty, few questions, and let us see what they say about the dance form and their love for the dance form. Hello, Gangadhar and Chakravarty. Welcome.
Namaste.
Namaste. So, yes, I will ask you same question. First, Gangadhar can answer and then Chakravarty can go on. Gangadhar, how, being a male dancer, you see very less male dancers today in Kuchipudi, in almost all the classical dance forms, especially Bharatanatyam or Odissi. A once male dance drama tradition today is completely of women. And how did you get interest in the dance form? And how did you decide that you are going to do just this for the rest of your life? The same question to Chakravarty, yes. Go on.
Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, yes.
My journey is actually started, basically, we are from Rajamandri. My father is a driver, and we shifted to Hyderabad in 2008. And then my father started working as a driver here. And then in the slum which we used to live, Mastan Nagar, there used to be a foundation called Women in Network. So where people from elite, women from elite family used to come to the Basti, that area, and help all the kids of my age in improving their language, helping us by paying school fees and then giving us nutrition food and everything. So somehow these women in network volunteers and my guru Srimati Sandhya Raju has some connection. So Sandhya Akka, I fondly call her, we all students call her Akka. So Sandhya Akka told all these women in network volunteers that I will be interested in teaching all the children of your community. I will conduct a workshop. So we don't know what is Kuchipudi by then. We have actually when our volunteers told that you are learning dance, we have practiced some Western steps and went there. So we used to fight which step we have to be. Some Western steps really. I still remember that day, like when we are going into entering the car, we used to fight each other. Are we step just no, step just like we used to prepare some Western steps and go there. And when we went to the dance class, we don't know that form. Some music is classical music was played, and then okay, do whatever you feel like doing. Then we understood, oh, it's Kuchipudi. And then our guru took. I actually never heard of Kuchipudi by that time when I was 13 years old. She conducted a workshop for almost 3 months where we used to do dance and also do gymnastics for an hour. We used to do gymnastics for an hour and then come to dance class. So like this weekly 3 days, she used to conduct workshop for almost 3 months, very rigorous workshop. Like we used to cry in that workshop. So out of like almost all like 100 students went to the workshop, only 15 students were selected. She used to eliminate people who couldn't able to do, but out of those 15, only 2 to 3 students have continued all these 10 to 12 years. And I'm fortunate that I'm one of that persons to learn under my guru. And then I have never heard of this dance form, but when I started learning, I felt there is some connection to my heart. And then I just had faith in my guru. Not even faith, I don't even say that. I just liked going to classes, to gymnastics classes and dance classes every day. So our training used to be so strict. So I used to like that spirit. So I just went and learned. Parallelly, I have studied, and then I've done my master's in business administration. And then I used to prepare for government exams also. But one day, I never used to be happy. Like I used to bunk even my MBA classes and go to Mridangam classes to learn Talam. So I used to bunk my MBA classes from afternoon. I used to just attend, and attendance venture. I just used to go to Mridangam class afternoon. So that's how it started. And then one day I was sitting in a park, and then I've decided that like I'm not able to focus on anything. Even though I'm studying for the government exams, I was actually thinking about what jati would Master Garu would. Why did Master Garu did this jati like this choreography like this? I was always in thoughts of dance. So one day I made my parents sad. I boldly told them that I'm going to take this dance as my profession. Just 2 years back, and then it's going now.
Okay, that's wonderful. Over to Chakravarty. And how did you learn dance, and how did you decide that you'll make this your life? Yeah.
I mean, I started at the age of 5, so I'm not. I didn't decide it consciously. Actually, this is my father's interest, and slowly turned into my interest. So he's very fond of. I mean, actually, he's an artist. My father is an artist, so he wanted me to go in cinemas and films and kind of all those things. So I started Kuchipudi, and it was not exactly Kuchipudi. It was semi-classical. So after 12 years, doing my schooling, everything. And slowly, when I was in college, I did CA. I mean, the foundation in CA, CPT, and I couldn't make it. Literally, I did 4 attempts and I couldn't make it. And after that, and in between, I was uh, I was into hip hop, and it was not even similar to our culture or anything like that. So yeah, 4 years I did hip hop, and after doing in 2016, again my father, he took me to Kuchipudi Art Academy. He left me there. Uh, from there, Srimayi, my teacher, she took the responsibility. She made me, as a something like a dancer, and I'm trying to prove myself as a dancer. And actually, what interests me in Kuchipudi is, it has everything. Like as you said, it has Kathak, Kathakali, Mohiniyattam, everything, whatnot, everything. So I don't see Kuchipudi as Kuchipudi. It's a dance. So see, if you raise a hand, it is a movement. So what you see, it's a way of living. Kuchipudi, for me, Kuchipudi is a way of living. So that interests me. It's kind of a contemporary. So you can express whatever you can, like you can sing. So there are no restrictions, not much. There are some, but not much restrictions. So I love that in Kuchipudi, and it interested me a lot. So that's it.
Thank you. So that's wonderful how you took Kuchipudi as your profession and pursuing it with so much devotion and determination. So when he said there is what is so special about Kuchipudi, I would like to add that the dramatic element, having come from a dance drama tradition, the uh, the expressions, the abhinaya and emotion in Kuchipudi is natural. At the same time, it's dramatic. It's not very stylistic, but it's stylistic. So there is a format, there is a framework. Within the framework, the artist has the freedom to explore the abhinaya or the expressions. That is one of the interesting aspects of Kuchipudi. And also the body language. If you see, as I'm speaking about body language, I would like to ask Gangadhar and Chakravarty to demonstrate some exercises first. So these were called Desi Vyayama. Since it was a male dance drama tradition, so the men used to perform rigorous exercises which were called Desi Vyayama. You can see that, in fact, in the martial arts also, in the Desi martial arts in India. So I would like to ask Gangadhar to perform and Chakravarty to perform some gunjilu and the side to side lunges and dandelu and baskilu and the jumps and the torso rotation and chakrasan. If you can do chakrasan, because they used to perform chakrasan also. And finally, yeah, that's all. Yeah, can you just perform the Desi Vyayama?
Yes, Akka.
Yeah.
So
So there is a variation of push-up in. So also there is a variation of push-ups in the Desi Vyayama. Even if you can show that, Gangadhar, that would be nice.
variations.
Yeah.
Push-up variation. Usually, what we do and then what they used to do. Yeah.
Right.
So I will show the working. So this used to be one of the exercises, and
Right.
then the side lunges, what we call, they used to do even like 15th, 14th century. And then push up, what we're talking about is that usually we do this way, right? But
Yes.
they used to do this way. So variation there used to be from they used to go and there used to be usually we call bridge and chakrasan. Now they have in that they used to do variation where they used to take a round chakradandam, what we call now. So they used to do bridge. And then a round circle. And also those torso movement, like since men used to perform the female roles, there used to be so much of torso exercises because they have to get the
Have to
grace.
look grace, yes.
Yeah. So
Right.
they used to do, I don't know I'll be able to do it, but they used to do even this. So from down,
Yes.
they used to do that. And then opposite side. So I'm just, they used to do so many times. The repetitions used to be so much.
Yes. So apparently, for the first 2 years, so when I interviewed few of the traditional gurus from Kuchipudi, they said that for the first 2 years, they only performed these exercises, only the exercises, the Mayurasan and all the yogasans and these exercises for 2 years. So since they were village, it's a village of dance. Everybody used to dance. Every household used to have a dancer. So somebody would call some guru who will be their relative would call them, when they were a child. So come perform this exercise, and they will do it for like 10 times or 20 times. So in that way, they just used to get up every day in the morning. They used to go to the fields, and there they used to perform this exercises, just exercises for like 1 or 2 years. Only then they used to get introduced to the adugulu, what we call, which was called samu back then. So then they used to get to the dance part of it. I think it makes sense because once you are well versed, when your body is in condition and when you start dancing, I think it'll be much easier when it compared to dancing first and then conditioning your body and things like that. So that is an interesting part. These are the Desi Vyayama of Kuchipudi, just now Gangadhar performed. And now, since Kuchipudi Bhagavatas were agriculturists, their movement inspiration comes from agricultural background. For example, there is something called Palugudu Varsalu, which will be performed by Gangadhar and Chakravarty now. So how they took the harvesting movements as inspiration, and they created a movement in Kuchipudi, which were called Palugudu Varsalu and Mandekoppu. Yeah, Gangadhar and Chakravarty, please, you can present Palugudu Varasa now. So Palugu is a... Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Carry.
No. Carry on. Yes.
So I'm actually showing the way how the movement has taken. The Palugudu is the crowbar, how they used to use this crowbar. Yeah, dig. And then from that movement, how our gurus, how they have taken inspiration and have created steps. He will show that step. I will show the normal movement. Right? 6, 7. Go. These movements used to be like this, Palugudu Varsa.
Beautiful. And the same Palugudu Varsa movement can be used to show a feminine, like Usha, just like how Chakravarty showed right now. And can you show something of a demon or a Rakshasa? Same Palagudu say.
Same difference we will show.
Okay.
And then I will do 5, 6, 7, go.
Correct. So that's how they use same movement for, the Rakshasa and the heroine. It's the amount of energy that matters, how much energy you give it to the movement, to your hands or to your feet, that defines the characterization of a character, which is another interesting aspect in the dance drama tradition of Kuchipudi. Now, also, can you show the Mandekoppu of Kuchipudi?
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll do the speed and then singles. We'll do the speed and then singles.
Okay, yeah. Yes. So this is another aspect. The Udghattitam part of Mandekoppu is very, special feature of Kuchipudi. Another special aspect that, as we spoke, is dancing on the brass plate. So now Gangadhar and Chakravarty will be showing a jati, how a jati is danced on a brass plate. Yeah, please go ahead.
So it's like question and answer session la untundi. I will be telling the jati and then Chakravarty will be performing on that brass plate. Whatever I'm questioning him, he gonna answer through his plate movements. Ready? Jati entity? Yeah. Takadinatum, takadinatum, tadna, dan, jannu, tadini, dimmi, tadit, takadinatum. Tadana, danna, jannu, tadimmi, dimmi, takadit, takadinatum. Tadana, danna, tadit, takadinatum. Jannu, takadit, takadinatum. Tadit, takadinatum. Takadit, takadinatum. Takadinatum, takadinatum. Tadit, takadinatum, takadinatum, tadikinatum, takadikinatum, tadit, takadinatum, takadinatum, tadikinatum, tadit, takadikinatum, ta.
Correct. Beautiful. So that's how we dance on plate. And on the same plate, there will be rotations, and you cross your legs and you dance. There is several like complex footwork that we try to do on the brim of the brass plate, which is interesting. So these are some of the special features of Kuchipudi, and there are a lot more. I hope you see a few in their performance, and hopefully to see in other performances too. On that note, Gangadhar and Chakravarty. So, yes, what is your vision as a Kuchipudi dancers, and what are you trying to do in future?
Yes, Akka. So I know, like, this art is it is not, I never feel like this art is a female dominating art form right now. It is always whoever dances properly, like that dominates everybody. That dancer dominates everybody.
Correct.
And
Correct.
it's like best dominating field. Any art,
Correct.
I think it's that. So we're always trying to be working on to reach that level. Every dancer always works to reach that level. And also, personally, I feel I should bring in more male dancers. Uh, I've started this thing. I have putting a workshop in or around my basti, and have and been teaching to young boys in our basti. And one thing I just want is that first thing is this more male into this art form.
Correct. In fact, there is no gender bias for any art form, be it Kuchipudi or any other art form. But unfortunately, there is a wrong notion among common people that, classical dance is not meant for male especially. It is only for girls. So I think that perception should be changed. It is changing, of course, and people should not think it that way, and more men and women and everybody, every gender is welcome into this art form. Yeah. And Chakravarty, yes.
Yeah, as you said, it's the same thing. I want to remove all those obstacles, like, male dancers are like.
We were always thinking about it. Even yesterday, we were thinking about it. Like, these, whatever stereotypes are there connected to
Exactly.
the art form. For that matter, classical dance form. If a boy learns a classical dance form, all the society sees with some kind of a look, like.
Right.
and
Right.
and I have gone through it while I was learning. And then when they started seeing me performing, I'm going with my teacher some places. And then when I came into the TV screens and everything, then they started realizing, oh, we stopped dancing. It would have been better if we have continued. And then they started realizing, I think, that thing has to go. Like,
Correct.
that is not the truth.
Yeah.
Actually,
Right.
even actually the cinema portraits, the classical dancers, all those stereotypes, like
Right.
some
Yes.
people are there to, just showcase, okay, these are the classical dancers, which they have those, as you said, the stereotypes. They are some female-ish, I don't know, some kind of a thing. And I want to remove that personally. And that's one thing. And I want to showcase Kuchipudi to the world, that it is a dance. It's just a dance. It has everything. It's whatnot. It's everything. It has jazz in it. It has everything. Even actually, I was thinking about, as I'm a hip hop dancer too. I was, there are so many similarities in hip hop and Kuchipudi. Actually, Kuchipudi is everything for me. So I want to showcase what is Kuchipudi to the world.
Actually, yeah. I was watching, I don't know if it's appropriate to talk here. I was actually watching Allu Arjun's movement, the actor Allu Arjun movements, which are very popular. Like, it is just a different style of dancing, but we have all the movements, the designs and everything. They're just stylized, and then they're doing it. I think I thought of making a comparison video also, but yeah, we have everything in our dance form.
Actually,
Right.
I wanted to thank Vempati Master Garu. Actually, he made it into, actually, he made it so sophisticated, and he just handed over to us. So we have to.
Right. We have to just take it down properly
Yeah.
to the next generation. Yes.
Yeah.
Correct. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was amazing. I was just watching spellbound. But I do have some more, as a relative layperson, not as a proponent of this art. I wanted to ask a couple of things. Kuchipudi, when it started, if I'm not mistaken, started in the temples, and it was more like a group art form. Now there is
Yes.
more focus on solo dancing. So,
Yes.
Dr. Sindhuri, yourself or Gangadhar and Chakravarty, one of you can answer this. Why did this evolution take place, and is there a role for group performances, especially if it is more a drama dance art form? The concept of groups somehow has slowly faded out. It may be because of interest in classical art is not as much as it was, say, 100 years ago. But even so, we don't see a lot of that. We see some amazing performers who do solo or duets, but this group thing. Anybody has any comments on that?
Yes, sir. It's actually, as you said, it's just a group thing. Dance drama was meant to be a group dance always. What happened was with the evolution, I think there was a problem of survival also. If the art form has to survive, when there was no money to sustain a big group, when the other forms, when the solo forms are evolving, like Bharatanatyam in the south, in Tamil Nadu and Odissi, when these forms are evolving, especially during the time of independence, there was no patronage for many dance forms, many art forms. So it's just for the sake of survival. And what is so beautiful about the Kuchipudi artists is that they changed according to time. They didn't say we are tradition, we only, of course, tradition. In fact, what is an experiment today becomes a tradition tomorrow. So many people said what you were doing with the art form was wrong 50 years ago, and today we learn it as a tradition. So that's what happened in Kuchipudi. Earlier, the Bhama Kalapam was performed for like 3 nights by Shri Vempati Venkata who was one among the Trinity of Kuchipudi. So he used to just do one daruvu, which means one piece of the Bhama Kalapam for like an entire night. He used to do different kinds of footwork and all that. And the second day, another part, and the third day, another part. And there is a lot of local relativity, what do you say? Whatever we speak is Telugu. The language is bound to that particular area. So there was a lot of Vachikabhinayam in the dance drama tradition earlier. So what Vempati Garu did when he came to Chennai, he made dance dramas. He choreographed so many dance dramas which were group works, but he discarded Vachikabhinaya out of it because not everybody can understand the same language, which is Telugu. So because of that reason, the solo dance form, solos, is just one person doing different characters, and everything can be said in the Angika Abhinaya or the body movements. There is no need of Vachika Abhinaya or anything. And with the evolved technology, you don't have to sing by yourself. There is a playback singer and there's an orchestra. I think that's the reason for the evolution of solo. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Another common question that a lot of lay people have is when you watch Kuchipudi, there's a lot of confusion with Bharatanatyam. And often people think the two are almost similar and they say it in the same breath, right? And in fact, so much so that there are some young dancers who learn both at the same time, but there are some similarities. Can you just touch upon, in very brief, I think we may be running out of time and I need to summarize, but if you can, in very brief, talk about some of the differences. And give a second question also, so you can do both at one time. The second question is something that Chakravarty just touched on, about how there are different art forms of the West, whether it's jazz or hip hop or other styles, where Kuchipudi seems to encompass it in smaller elements. Is there a role for demonstrating these things side by side, and is there a push for our pure art form to be demonstrated in the context of other art forms which are across the world? So both those questions.
Okay. So coming to the first question, which is differences between Bharatanatyam and Kuchipudi, I think it takes a long essay as a researcher for me to explain. But in a very layman perspective, I would like to just take what style of Bharatanatyam and what style of Kuchipudi or which Bani of Kuchipudi should I compare. For me, to make it easier, I will take the Kalakshetra Bani of Bharatanatyam and the Vempati style of Kuchipudi, where everything in Kalakshetra style is the lines. It is more angular, more geometric. Whereas in Kuchipudi, there are so many curves. In fact, in so many movements, like 90% of the movements, however you do your hand, that's how you move your torso. There is a torso movement which follows your hand, which follows your arms. So that is one of the differences. Since there is a strong background of Vachika Abhinaya and Kuchipudi, people sing, they do the lip movement in the song. Of course, some people choose not to do the lip movement, although they are Kuchipudi dancers, and that's up to their choice right now, because so many things are changing in the current day situation. But the way you express when you don't sing the song and when you sing the song, it's very different. That is one of the main aspects. And the Abhinaya, if you take a Padam or a Javali, the approach to choreography of that Padam or a Javali is little different from a Bharatanatyam and Kuchipudi. But, it is very unfair to really, bifurcate and draw very strong opinions and differences between these two forms, because I think the context is very important. Kuchipudi and Bharatanatyam, even Bharatanatyam didn't have its name before independence, like few decades ago, like before 1930s, it was called Sadar. These two coexisted, taking inspirations from each other in the same region. Today we speak about Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh, but earlier it was only just one region. The states were not even bifurcated according to their language. So that is the reason why I think there is a lot of give and take between these dance forms. For that matter, even there are influences of Odissi and Bharatanatyam and Kuchipudi. There's a lot of give and take, I would say, rather than talking about the differences. But yeah, I can tell in more detail when I have time. And then coming to the second part of it, not just Kuchipudi, but there is a lot of influence of ballet and, Oriental dance that I spoke of, Uday Shankar, on all the dance forms of the neoclassical dance forms. In fact, Bharatanatyam was the standard model of all the classical dance forms for their revival in terms of the Saushtava or the perfection, which was already there. Rukmini Devi Arundel, who was the pioneer of Bharatanatyam, she was inspired by ballet. And so she says, I want that kind of, perfection in Bharatanatyam. And then what we did was we just didn't take inspiration from ballet. We went back to the Natya Shastra, the sculptures on the temples, which were perfectly, with perfect postures in Saushtava. And that's how, by revisiting the ancient treatises and by the influence of the West, like dance forms like ballet, that's how we have revived all the art forms, for which Bharatanatyam is the first art form to revive in that way, from which every other art form got inspired. So that's how our Angika Abhinaya expanded after, independence in the neoclassical dance forms. So that's about it.
So I think we are really running out of time. I wish we had more time. This is an amazing discussion. One thing that struck me really when we started this conversation is how you can bring your passion and how you can convert that into a lifelong learning and giving back to the community. All three of you. I mean, obviously, Dr. Sindhuri, you are an engineer in computer science. We have bachelors in commerce, bachelors in business administration. So it's not that you have to be only somebody from a village learning only dance and trying to survive on that. You can fuel your passion by doing things along with your dance, which is what you all have demonstrated. But then as you become bigger and more renowned, you can focus your energies more on that. It's, again, my privilege on behalf of Arts from India to thank all three of you, Dr. Sindhuri in particular, but I'm very excited and looking forward to Gangadhar and Chakravarty's performance at the Arts of India Festival, the all-male dance festival coming soon to you. And with that, I wish you all a very good day and good luck with your careers, and looking forward to bigger and better things from all of you. Namaste.
Tam dum, tak